How to think about fat loss so it becomes easy peasy. Um, Obviously, everybody is struggling with fat loss. Vast majority of people, right? You don't have to. You don't have to have all the data and the whatever the numbers to look around and see that very very few people are healthy and in shape and not overweight. So one of the reasons that people are struggling is because they don't know how to think. Okay. The way that most people go about it is that we're almost looking for things that validate our our opinions that we already hold. Okay. So that's one big thing. So you seek out information that validates the things that you have already come to believe in. Remember, the beliefs that you have are basically thoughts that are on repeat and then they become automatic. Like it's a skill, right? So if you find yourself constantly feeling frustrated and struggling, you've practiced that thought so much that it becomes very easy for you to do. Okay. And then what your brain does is if you fixate on a thing or a thought, it will your brain or your nervous system goes, this is important, we need to find more evidence to support this. And so that's what you're going to see, that's what you're going to find. And then anything that you encounter, you're going to then take that and then link it up with this belief that you already have. And even if you see an evidence to the contrary, you're going to find a way to discredit or invalidate that. Okay. So the way that we kind of go about this is we start to look at observations rather than what people say, right? Social media is filled with this guy saying, it's all your hormones. This guy saying it's all insulin. This person is saying that it's carbs. This lady is saying that, it's red meat. And this person saying eggs are bad for you. So very quickly it becomes extremely overwhelming to kind of navigate that whole scenario. And which is understandable. So that's why this is not about the technical side of fat loss, which is very simple. This is about how do I interpret information and learn so that I find the right answers that help me close the gap, okay? So before all of this, we have to start with a desire, okay? And we have to honor that desire, meaning you decide what it is that you want. Do you want to be very lean? Do you want to be strong? You start there, because if you don't even know where you're going, right? The GPS analogy is like, if you don't input a destination, like it doesn't really matter where you go because you don't know where you're going. So we have to establish that, yes, I do want to get extremely lean. I want to get strong, okay? From there, we can start with the second part. The second part of this is we need to start observing. So now, somebody goes, hey, carbs late at night, man. Like, if I eat carbs at night, then, it's a wrap. Like, okay. So we take that, and maybe that's one of your beliefs, right? There's plenty of people who still believe that. If you believe that right now, then you start asking questions. Well, is this true? How would you figure that out? You don't go to science. You don't need to go to studies. You don't need to go to Andrew Huberman podcasts, right? What you do is you go, are there people right now and yet they're still extremely lean and healthy? You will I don't know if we're still alive. I don't know if we're still live here. Can you put a thumbs up if you're still seeing this? Because it's just cutting out. But we'll keep going. We'll see what happens. So you start with these observations, and another one. Like, this is one of my current favorites because people really love to romanticize Europe and Europe's food, and oh my God, I lost so much weight and I ate everything I wanted. As soon as I came back, I gained it all back because America's food is poison. So, okay, we start to observe. Are there people in the United States who are lean and strong? Answer is obviously yes. Are there people in Europe who are fat or overweight or obese or who have diseases? The answer to that is yes as well. So it's not the magical food in Europe. There's something else. So you see, we start to get closer to the truth when we ask these questions, and it also brings a sense of like calm and a certainty, because if a guy tells you, hey, American food is just so bad and it's gonna, it's poisoning you, you don't really know but it sounds bad, and you see everybody around and they have all these health problems. You're like, man, maybe it is the food, but you don't have certainty. So we want to start to have more and more certainty because it relaxes you, it calms you down. When you're calm, you make better decisions. So when you're looking at the example of the European food, right? So in reality, the rate of obesity trends in Europe are the same as they are in America. The rate of disease is the same in Europe as it is in America. So we can definitively say that no, it's not the food, it's something else. Okay. And another thing to look at, these are the critical thinking skills that really help you. So there's a thing called survivorship bias. You can look it up. But basically, if a person goes to Europe and they lose some weight and then they come back and they tell you about it, well, guess what? You didn't hear from all the people who went on vacation, whether it was to Europe or other places, that actually gained weight. You're not going to hear from those people. So you think that this is the truth, but you're only getting the survivors side of the story. Okay. So again, you can look that up. That's called survivorship bias. It's a very helpful thing once you start to learn and understand that. Then the next part of that example is people don't know how to or interpret data. They don't know how to look at information. So when somebody says they lost weight, okay, how much weight did you lose? Do you actually know whether or not you lost body fat? Because if a person went there and let's say they happened to weigh in before they left and they were 180, and then they came back and they were 174, 75, what's to say? How are we certain with just those two pieces of information? How do we know that that wasn't just water weight fluctuation? That wasn't food weight in your stomach? That wasn't inflammation? Like, that original 180 may have been a high day for you. The human body can fluctuate, 5 pounds is an easy fluctuation on any given day, but you can fluctuate up to 8, 9, 10 pounds in a day, and that's not fat. Okay, so we don't even know if you actually lost weight, or it just so happens that you left on a high number and you came back on a low number. So you're, oh my God, I lost weight, I ate so much. Second, and that's why we look at trends. Okay, so if you really want to know what is your actual weight, which you're constantly fluctuating every day, every minute, right? If I go pee right now, I'm gonna weigh less. If I drink a, bottle of water, I'm going to weigh more. That's why we look at rolling averages, right? So what is my weekly average weight? And that's why we need to track weight every day, because then we can see the trend. That's the number we want to see, the trend, right? Not one data point, multiple data points over a long time period to give us a true idea of what's going on, right? So as we begin to ask these questions, we get closer to the truth. We start eliminating all this stuff that actually doesn't matter as much as we think it does. I want to circle back to the European food thing for a second. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have better quality ingredients, better quality food. I'm just saying that that is not the first priority. The most damaging thing to your health is going to be these three things. It's going to be, number one, having too much body fat. Having 50 pounds of body fat is more dangerous to your health than being very lean and strong and eating or drinking, let's say, oh my God, this is Diet Coke, chemicals, right? Number two is being physically weak. If you are physically weak, that is extremely dangerous to your health. Number three, being winded, with any activity. So like you bend over to tie your shoelaces and you get winded, that's very dangerous. So don't worry about food quality right now. First, start to focus on reducing body fat, starting to lift weights or doing some strength thing, and then getting your heart rate up on purpose on a regular basis, okay? Those three things are the most important, right? I talk about it all the time. All right. So you start to see these things, you start to ask questions, you start to be more relaxed, and then, so I'm going to give you the practical side, like, okay, I'm going to give you the answer and what to do. Start tracking your calories. Start tracking your body weight. Put your calories between 1,500 and 2,000. That's going to be for pretty much everybody, because calories are based on the size of the person, and humans are within a pretty narrow range. Like, it's not like we have 1 foot humans, right? Everyone is on average between 5 foot and 6 foot, right? And so, and then see what happens. Do the experiment yourself. And that's kind of where we'll end it for today, is like running the experiments for yourself calmly while being able to ask these questions will allow you to systematically, reliably get to the destination, get to the goal. All right. So as always, if you ever have any questions or you need any help, feel free to message me. Right now I'm trying to do, I want to help. I really want to help as many people as possible, because I'll tell you, being on all sides of this, being lean and strong and not getting tired is an amazing feeling. It will change your life. Like, your life will get so much dramatically improved. Okay. And so, all that being said, I am doing 100 days, 100 people. So helping each person remove the most immediate roadblock or bottleneck in their fat loss or health. Okay. And so if you want to take part in that, we'll hop on a call. We'll find out what is that problem, and then we'll solve it. And then I want to share those videos, because obviously you might have a thing that you think only you are experiencing, but you're not alone. Everybody experiences these things. So, it really helps to see someone work through a problem and solve it, and then other people can benefit from that as well. So if you want to reach out to me for that, message me on Instagram, rambir.sangera, or you can send me an email, rambir@gmail.com, and that's it.